Welcome to the Global Education and Skills Forum, and welcome to tomorrow, which is our inaugural summit for EdTech entrepreneurs focused on emerging markets. We're delighted to have you with us. My name's Kate Noble. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of the Varkey Foundation. In the next hour, we're going to set the scene for the summit. And first of all, I'd like to introduce Jay Varkey, who is a passionate EdTech entrepreneur and also the chairman of the Varkey Foundation. Please welcome Jay.
Thank you, Kate. Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the Varkey family, I would like to welcome you to Dubai and to the Global Education Skills Forum. This year, we are very proud to launch tomorrow our new EdTech Summit, which showcases innovative startups that can help improve education in low-income and emerging economies. And as part of the Tomorrow Summit, we're absolutely thrilled to launch a brand new prize, the Next Billion EdTech Prize, named after the billion young people and counting that are denied access to their birthright, a great education. We have launched this prize to highlight technology's great potential. It can tackle problems that have proven too difficult for successive generations of politicians to solve. Our hope is that the prize inspires practical and persistent entrepreneurs the world over to come forward with fresh tech ideas. These ideas must be hardy enough to improve education in those regions where young people are denied access to a good quality teacher and a great learning environment. You're the first cohort. You're the trailblazers who are using technology to transform the lives of those who are most in need. You have made it your mission to bridge the education divide. You have showed great imagination, a bold vision, and most importantly, the grit to keep going against the odds. I thank all of you for blazing the trail for those who will follow. I'm sure you all agree that technology, however advanced, can never replace our inspiring teachers, but it can help empower them. It can give them the tools to bring lessons to life, to reach children in remote locations, and help them learn new techniques from the leaders in their profession, and so much more. Maybe we'll all look back on this day as the first time we saw a technology that went on to transform the lives of children around the world. Good luck pitching, and despite all the problems in the world, thank you for giving us such a great hope in the future. Thank you and have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Jay, for setting the scene with those inspiring words. I'd now like to introduce to you our chief judge, Mike Butcher, editor-at-large of TechCrunch. When we first conceptualized this idea, a few months ago now, Mike has provided inspiration and guidance to our team as we develop the concept, bringing with him his years of experience and knowledge in this sector. So I'd like to ask Mike to come to the stage as our chief judge and tell you more about tomorrow and tell you more about the pitching competition that's going to happen starting this afternoon. Thank you, Mike. Thanks.
Hello, everybody. As Kate said, my name is Mike Butcher. I'm editor-at-large for TechCrunch. Come on, guys. Come sit down. We're all friends here. So this is actually going to be the crucible. The two stages here will be the crucible for the pitching today and tomorrow. Now, this is exciting. Now, why is it exciting? I'll tell you why. Because education technology still hasn't quite cracked it, has it? Right? It hasn't cracked it. And I think one of the visionary ideas behind this competition and this whole process that's going to happen over the next couple of days is that the Varkey Foundation, in their wisdom, and the Global Education and Skills Forum have realized that there needs to be some work done here. And some work is going to be done by the innovators in this space, by the startups, and by the non-profits in this sector. And it's not necessarily down to the big giants of Silicon Valley that we can rely on. It's actually going to be the real innovators on the ground who are close to the issues, close to the problems, close to the kids who need this literally yesterday. And the great thing about this idea is that, let's face it, right? We're not going to be able to educate the next billion by relying on printing textbooks every time we need to educate a child. We need to get a hold of the scalability of technology to educate the next billion. So it's incredibly important, and that's why I'm absolutely delighted to be here today. I'm going to be one of the judges. I'm technically lead judge, helping all of the judges. And it's important for you to remember that you'll be hearing a whole bunch of great pitches here today in this stage and in the EdTalk zone as well. So basically, run between the two, tag team with if you've got a colleague here, pick a stage and hang out and really kind of get into it, because it's going to be fantastic. This is honestly, I'm telling you now, this is going to be the best place at this entire conference all week. Okay, tell your friends, bring them here. Now, let me tell you now. So over the next 3 days, we've got a packed program. It's designed to help a lot of the startups really, get into their products. One of the great things about startup pitching and the whole pitching process is it's fantastic. You really get to knock the edges off your company and your idea. You get some fantastic feedback by experienced judges. And you get some fantastic feedback from the audience as well, who is full of experts as well, of course. Some highlights of the whole sessions. Apart from this stage, I'll be interviewing Rish Mitra, who's the founder of Blipper, in a fireside chat over the next couple of days. We'll be having an investor panel all about what investors are looking for in EdTech startups. You'll be hearing from ministers who'll be sharing their perspectives in education reform challenges and markets. You'll be learning scientists to give insights into how students learn. There'll be a focus at some point in the conference on South Africa, where the winner of the prize will have the opportunity to pilot their product. The startups that you'll be pitching will also be in the startup souk. Thank you. Realize what we did there. Startup marketplace, souk, whatever you would like to say. I think it's next door, actually, right? So if you didn't quite get the whole pitch from a company, or if you want to deep dive with that entrepreneur or that founder, then please go and hang out in the startup souk. That's often one of the best places to go at these kinds of events, because you'll really. Are you asking a question, sir? Okay, let's go. Let's go with it. What's the question? You'll be hearing all about that. I can see. Go to the head of the class. Come on over. No, it's fine. I'm joking. My mother was a teacher, actually, so maybe I've got a little bit of that in me. But go to the startup souk and check all of that out. There'll be great people there. And then also we will be arranging a number of one-to-ones with investors and other experts to really help these startups scale their products, scale their ideas, and really kind of put some rocket fuel in there. Come and sit down, everybody. It's all right. It's very informal. Come and hang out with us. So besides this, from Saturday morning, the Board of Conference starts. Check out the Future Zone. There'll be a range of talks on educational subjects. We've got celebrities galore, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, my goodness. Al Gore, Tony Blair, Julia Gillard, Nicholas Sarkozy, Jennifer Hudson, Lewis Hamilton, Mo Farah. Now, but this is still the best place to be. Forget the celebrities, okay? This is where the work is done. And now, so just to give you a little bit of an overview and to speak to your questions, sir, over the course of the next 2 days, all 42 companies. That's a heck of a lot, by the way. I actually rarely see startup competitions, go that long and deep into this subject. 42 companies will pitch to a panel of esteemed judges. There'll be a 5-minute pitch and then 5-minute Q&A. We have got some fantastic MCs, many of whom are journalists like myself, who will be MCing the stages. And the judges will be asking questions. And then 6 finalists will be announced at our cocktail reception on 5 p.m. on Saturday. So make sure you're there. People will be waiting with bated breath, I can tell you, waiting for those 6 finalists to be announced. And these 6 finalists will pitch on the main plenary stage on Sunday morning, where judges and the conference delegates will select 3 overall winners to receive, drum roll, $25,000 and the next billion prize trophy. So, okay, so this is going to be the mother lode. This is the crucible where everything goes. Now, so please arrive in the appropriate room. If you're a startup, either the tomorrow stage or the EdTech zone, 15 minutes before your session. Startups, where are you? Put your hand up if you're a startup. Oh my goodness me, look at you. Right, so make sure you know where you need to be on time. I've been at events where you go like, and now, and then they're still having a coffee or something. Oh my God, it's not a good idea. So make sure you know where you are, where you need to be. I'm just going to say, quick thing to the startups: keep your answers concise. Okay, you don't need to go overboard with the answers when you're doing answering judges' questions. Just keep them concise. You know why? Because the shorter your answers, the more questions you get. Little tip there from an experienced hand there. Now, we've tested your slides, so make sure you're all teed up for that. So we've got a huge program, and I've given you a big overview of that. So I hope you have a great time. Like I said, this is honestly the best place. The pitches, the Startup Zone, EdTalk, Startup Souk, EdTalk, and Tomorrow Zone. This is the best place. You are in the best place, right? Forget those guys. This is the best place. So tell your friends and hang out with us. And startups, good luck. You know, this process isn't about us being on stage and judges having their day in the sun. This is about you. This is about making you better so you can solve those incredibly important problems for education market and help those kids. So from me, see you later. Thanks very much.
Mike, thank you so much for setting the context for us and for raising our energy levels. I am really excited about the pitching and I can't wait to get started. But before we do, I'd like to invite a couple of very special teachers to talk to you. As you know, the Varkey Foundation runs the Global Teacher Prize, and every year we bring 50 teachers into our community and the top 10 of those teachers, and then we have a final winner, and we'll be announcing that winner for this year on Sunday night. Last year we had 2 very special people within the top 10 who know a lot about teaching in some of the toughest places on earth. And to set the context for some of the challenges that you have, I'd like to invite first of all Mike Wamaya to the stage to speak to you.
Yes. Hello everyone. So my name's Mike Wamaya, as you heard, and I'm so excited to be here. It's my second year in Dubai. I was one of the finalists for the Global Teacher Prize last year. I had an amazing time, and I teach in Kenya. Yeah, I teach ballet. So that's my classroom, and I've been teaching ballet now for 10 years. And to me, before I started dancing, I was a mechanic, which is so weird. And I never had a chance to go through high school. So for me to learn ballet, I had to actually travel to the UK and the Netherlands to study. And these children are so lucky because now they have me as a Kenyan back home teaching it. And so we've been dancing now for 10 years. Some of them have performed in Italy last year for the first time. So they had like a trip to Rome, and they did a big presentation there. And to me, I look at challenges in education in a complete different way. I think Africa, at this point, we have the solution to the problems we are facing. And there's now internet. And I'm so excited that now I've been invited to talk to techies about dance, which I'm very nervous about because not everyone seems to be dancing. And So I'm a bit nervous on how to start. But anyway, Africa, my school has, I teach in 4 different schools in Kibera. The schools have like a minimum of 400 children in a very small space. And my ballet class, I ran up to 70 children per classroom, and they all want to dance. But before we used to have a problem of what is a classroom. The children would ask themselves, like, what is a classroom? And I think last year, one of our schools was demolished. And the child came to me and said, so tomorrow we are not going to come to school. You know, like very excited, you know, because people don't like school. Because school is about exams. School is about learning to read and being forced to do some things that you don't like. But luckily with them, they have ballet now, and they're looking up to come to school, and they're looking up to be in that classroom. And before, also, people used to say, yeah, children in Africa, and especially in the informal settlements, go to school because of food. They can't access food back at home. But now the situation have changed. Yeah, people are now able to provide food for their children. People are able to provide a classroom. But now the problem is this. We don't know what these children are going to be able to do in the future, because they don't know what the future looks like. And we as teachers, we also don't know what the future looks like for our children. And thanks to technology now, our children have now access to internet in various schools. And now we could see how other countries live, how other people do things. And the first day I introduced ballet, the children were like, so what is ballet? And thanks to my mobile phone, switching it on and showing them this is ballet, because some of them don't even have access to TV. So they were like, oh, so this is how ballet is danced. And then we took them to a performance. But then slowly, in the process, they got to learn like the importance of it. It's not just about exercising. It's not just about being pretty, but it's about being yourself and knowing what you really stand for. So I'm really grateful to technology because we could show them. And some of these, the schools that I work in, a big challenge we're facing now is like, people always say I read on books like it's one textbook for 4 students. But actually the situation now is like one textbook for a whole classroom. And it's so sad that even with the technological era in Africa now, and which is growing, still children don't have access to books. We just introduced the digital learning in Kenya with the tablets, but not all these children don't have access to it. But I do hope and believe that now with the creative minds around this room, a solution might one day come up where all these children would have access to books in a very different way, digital books, of course, and a solution would be for them to have access to the basic need, which is knowledge. So thank you guys so much. And I'm also very grateful to be here for the Global Teacher Prize this year as we celebrate one amazing teacher this year. So thank you guys so, so much. Yeah.
Thank you so much for bringing that to life for us. I'm going to open the floor to questions in just a moment. Many of you may be looking at Kenya as a place that you operate or would like to operate. And so please do feel free if you've got any questions. I'd first like to ask Mike, what would be your message to the room of people here who are all trying to develop EdTech solutions for environments such as this? What should they be focusing on as they develop their products and as they think over the next few days?
I think the basic thing is, let's think of having every child having access to a quality teacher, which is what also Varkey Foundation stands for. And a teacher needs tools. And the tools a teacher would need, now they don't have to travel to Europe to get that tool. Technology can give them that tool in their own hands. So you stand in a position now of changing the gap between between teachers and knowledge. So use your power to change our education system.
Great.
Hi, my name is Ulrike. I'm from Germany, and I'm mentoring some projects in northern Nigeria where there is no electricity and obviously no internet. So I wondered about the word you said that Africa has its own solutions, but we are not here in Africa. So I just want to question. Is it really the solution to bring always something from outside to Africa, or how do you see the population itself growing into new initiatives?
Yeah, to me, I look at it like let's engage each other, because yes, you might develop something in Germany and try to implement it in Africa. It might not work out because of the setting and also the mindset, but inclusion, having African people also part of your development would really make a huge difference. So I think, first of all, it starts with engaging. You might have a good idea, but if you don't engage Africans in terms of implementing it, I'm 100% sure it might fail.
Thank you. Gentleman here.
Hello, thank you for your presentation and wonderful job you're doing. I'm coming from Armenia. 9 years ago, we have a big problem of computer literacy among our teachers and internet coverage. I would like to know what's the situation right now in your country, just to understand whether it's possible to bring technology as solution.
I think technology is working. We now have 4G in Kenya. And
so mobile coverage, you have
yes,
entire mobile
so
coverage.
there's mobile coverage in parts of the country, but still, again, internet is always very slow. But yeah, people are working on it. But yeah, there's mobile coverage. And now in Kibera, they just introduced like Wi-Fi in different parts of it. So it's now easy for my school, through the Varkey Foundation, to connect to another school in Colombia or in the US. Yeah.
And the teachers' computer literacy, is it being done some things to raise the awareness and computer literacy for the teachers so they can pass it?
I think that is something the government is working on at this point, because we are still used to the old way of teaching, but computers are taking over. And good thing is that children are leading the revolution, and they're leading it in a complete different ways. Like, I have my girls who are like 16-year-olds, and they now have Facebook accounts. And now I introduce them to Skype, and they introduce me to Snapchat. So that's how it's working. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I think there was a question at the back there. Yes. We'll take this one here. Oh no, we'll take that one, and then we'll take this one. Thank you. Is that for you? No, it's not a question.
Hey, Nia Jemze.
Mambo vipi?
I also come from Kenya. I work with NS Education, and we deliver learning via SMS. What I would like to learn from you is a problem that we are struggling with, and I'm sure a lot of other EdTech companies are struggling with, which is we have amazing teachers like you who would love to test new things, would love to test new things with students. But in Kenya, as we know, if you can't make it into any other degree, you then can qualify for education or being a policeman, and we know what that has resulted in. So how do we motivate those teachers? How do we motivate the average teacher to start really getting into the rhythm of like working with students, you know, trying to do the kind of stuff that you're doing? How do you think we can start?
To me, it's more on let's add value to our teachers. In Kenya, and it's so bad to say it, I hope no one is here from the Ministry of Education in Kenya. Teachers in Kenya are the worst paid, and it's the worst job group. Yet to me, and also like teachers who are more into the early childhood development, even up to this year, we still don't know who is in charge of their pay. Is it the central government or is it the county level government? So we still don't value teaching. And like when I tell my mother, like I'm a dance teacher, she says, I hope you'll one day get a job, you know, because people still don't look at, for instance, dancing. And on top of it, you are a teacher. So it's not really valued. But I think it's up to us now to lead the revolution by pushing it into their throats by what we are doing. And I'm very happy with the Varkey Foundation that now, for the first time, I had the president calling my name. So I was like, yeah, that's it. Because it starts from these simple things that we are doing. And then global partners are helping us lead the revolution. So it's coming. And I do hope that maybe in the next 3-4 years, people will start looking at teaching as a profession that even young people would look up to. Because in Kenya, we are studying to get a job, but we're not studying for knowledge. We're studying to just have a better job. So I hope that will change.
Hi, thank you. Mike, you've got a great smile, and I think everyone would agree that right now you're the Ministry of Education in Dubai for Kenya, so well done. I would like to just pose a question regarding innovation, which might give people a bit of a hand with their startups. How do you feel, you spoke about Snapchat and Facebook and your students using them. How do you feel innovation and emerging technologies can be incorporated into the current and future levels of education in Kenya?
To me, it's more on, yes, we have internet now, but and children are getting on Facebook. So could we make like content, could we make like softwares or contents that would relate to day-by-day learning of our children? Like through VR now, my child is able to be in Dubai. And through VR, a child in the US who can't afford a safari in Africa would be able to see a rhino. And those simple things make a huge difference in a child's life, because it's not about the exam at the end of the day, but it's about what you're doing in school, the school projects. And so if more things would be designed towards like school project based, that would be very helpful to our teachers.
Hello, thank you for your commitment to our children. I have a question for you regarding skills. I'm curious what you believe are the skills that you would like to pass on that would allow your children and our children to thrive in the future.
I think is smile and be happy. Yeah, it's just smile and be happy. Yeah, that's important. Yeah, we are living in a world now that last year in Dubai, people were like, what is tomorrow? And now people are discussing tomorrow already. We don't know what tomorrow is. And now for children who don't even have access to technology, we don't know. But what we see on TV is really shocking. And the war going around everywhere and people not happy. And we're just pushing each other to the wall. So the only solution to it is just be happy. So if we can teach our children how to be happy and to understand what peace is, that's the solution. Yeah.
So one comment and then a question. My mom said pretty much the same thing when I said I was starting a company. You know, I hope one day you find a real job. Yeah. But with respect to educational technology and teachers, you know, I would like to know what are the structures and organizations by which teachers learn, because that's how you make educational technology work. It's through teachers. It's through making sure that they're empowered to use the tools properly. And so do they learn from one another? Does the government provide a structure? What are the structures by which they can learn?
So to me, yeah, again, I always say I'm just a dance teacher. So I think now learning, like for instance, in my side, I learn a lot through YouTube, and I learn a lot through email from friends. And thanks to technology now, we can send messages back and forth. We can watch videos back and forth. We can connect. So learning is changing. It's not more on the physical way of sitting side by side by a mentor and a teacher to talk about your work and your school projects, but it's more on seeing what other people have done and trying to do the same or make it different. So learning is changing. It's more global way of learning, so we tend to connect more online. Yeah, so that's how I learn. And I don't know with the math teachers in Kenya, because still we have a problem with having access to books and access to technology in these schools. Yeah.
Hi, thanks very much for your great work. So my name is Tunji, I'm from Nigeria, and I've also been a teacher for many years. Recently, a few days ago, there was a report from the World Bank about access growing in education and learning going down. And my view is that a lot of that is related to a focus on passing, at least in Nigeria. And so I don't know, as a teacher, whether to give some perspective to the kind of technologies we should be delivering. Do you have any comments or views on the difference between learning and passing, you know?
Passing, you mean passing exams?
Yes, the focus on passing versus on learning.
Yeah, I think I always say, like, poverty has its way in disrupting a child's mind when they are growing up. And so they would be forced to pass exams so they have access to a better high school. In high school, better university. From university, maybe better job. But now we are living in that era that, according to me, and I also push this to my students, it's not about passing exams only. It's about being who you are and learning new things. Learning the simple way of how do you make your environment clean. Learning the simple ways of how do you give a hand, or how do you answer a question, or how do you team play. So we've not been having that. Our focus is more on exams, and which is short term. And yeah, the report is also like indicating like even class 5 children cannot do basic exams of grade 3 children, which is so sad, but because we are forcing our children's mind to just take information and not give. So the moment we will let the children also be in a position of giving information, then by that we are learning, yeah.
Good morning. Thank you so much for the work you're doing in Kenya. I'm your neighbor from Uganda. My name is Francis. I'm a Teach for Uganda fellow, and Teach for Uganda is an organization that is leading to end education inequity in Uganda by hiring young professionals and university graduates, place them in poor public primary schools to empower and inspire these young children as they learn. My motivation to being a Teach for Uganda fellow is that I've been innovating in education for teachers since I was at university to empower teachers to integrate information communication technology and learner-centered methods of teaching and learning in education. So I joined Teach for Uganda to be placed in a rural school to see how best we can probably innovate for the teachers to be able to integrate ICT in their rural schools. About 70% of the teachers are ICT illiterate. And I am in this situation whereby the school where I'm teaching is about 1 hour and a half drive from the city, and there is no network, there is no electricity, and you walk a number of miles to get water. And my challenge has been like, these teachers cannot access internet, and we want to empower them to use ICT. According to your story, it seems the work you're doing is in the schools that have internet that are probably close to the city. What advice would you have for me as a person who is in this rural area? I have passion for ICT integration, teaching and learning, but this, the environment is not enabling. Thank you.
Yeah, in our schools, actually, we don't, some of the schools I work in don't have access to internet. And if it's there, it's really low. But I think there's a lot that needs to be done in terms of, they call it SSD, SMS, solution-based, something. Yeah, there's another organization in Kenya that is using, they have an app that you can use it offline to study. So internet is there, but if we would think of also SMS, you know, also in Kenya we were the kind of the first country to also have like the mobile money, which is working so well in terms of school fees payment. And a solution like that would enable more children study. You know, nowadays I receive like text messages from my student like, how is Dubai? And so I have to reply them through the text. So that's their way of learning. So I think SMS is accessible everywhere. The only problem is now we need to, again, try and find a way of challenging our governments to reduce the cost in terms of how much people would pay to have access to these SMS platforms. So I think SMS would have a solution.
Okay, thank you very much, Mike.
Thank you.
And a big round of applause for Mike, please. Thank you, fantastic. So I think the last question, is this on? Yes. The last question actually is a very pertinent one, which I think there will be answers in this room. And that's one of the things that we'll be focusing on over the next couple of days. Thank you so much to Mike and to all of our speakers. What I'd like to do just before finishing this session is introduce some other members of our team, just so that you know who they are over the next couple of days. You've already met Mike, our chief judge. We have a couple of other lead judges here, Diane and Thomas. Maybe you could just stand up so everybody can identify you. And also you'll have had quite a bit of contact with the Varkey Foundation team. Gillian and Sonal, maybe you could just make yourselves here. So the team here obviously are going to be leading the judging process. We also want to make sure that you have a fantastic weekend with us. So if there's anything that we can do to help you with your experience, please do let us know. So I'm going to finish this session now, give you a breathing space so that you can go and get a cup of coffee before the pitching starts at 12 o'clock. We'll be running one session in here and also one at the Ed Talks room down at the end of this block. Wish you the very best of luck, and I look forward to seeing you throughout the 2 days of the pitching, and then those lucky 6 finalists on the stage in the closing plenary on Sunday morning. So thank you very much.